Well, hello again, YouTubers in the YouTube world. Uh, Hope everybody's having a great day. So before I get started, I'll ask that you please subscribe, leave a comment, ring the bell, share, and like. I think that's it. So I would like to ask all you thinking people a question. In some of my earliest videos, I had a topic of do you think you're free and how do you feel about freedom? What do you think freedom is to you? And it was one of my earlier videos. I never got a response on that, but I would appreciate a response because I'd like to ask you that same question again. You know, do you think you're free? Do you think we live in a free society? You know, do you think we have rights that we can enforce that can benefit our people and our movement? Because I don't think we do. And here's why. Anytime that a government or a mayor or anybody else, that's supposed to be in charge of the people, can restrict your movement, your say so, your comment, you know, and relegate it to basically the trash pile, how can you call that freedom? The reason why I make these videos, are to try to help my people. Like I said, I didn't intentionally start this channel for this, but I saw how I was going, and I saw I had strong comments on opinions, put it that way, on some things, and so and then I got comments of people telling me they like it, and some people in the street telling me that they like what I do, continue what I do. But I don't really like or so-called like doing this. But you just have to call people out, and you have to call situations out that that's not fair. And yeah, we all know life ain't fair. Okay, so anybody that want to sing that song, it's song. Go to the balcony. But we deserve fairness, and anybody that's dishing out unfairness, should be stopped. Anybody, any entity, anything that dishes out unfairness should be stopped. If we're going to live in a free society, that means we should live in a fair society, right? We should live in an equal society, right? But how come we don't? Excuse me. How come the majority of the whites live on one side of town and the majority of blacks live on the other side of town and the majority of Puerto Ricans and Mexicans live on the other side of town and the Chinese live on one side? So where's the togetherness is? People like to be around their own, right? So by people liking to be around their own, the prosperous ones generate gravitate towards more like their own, right? And none of them stop to look at uh, the people that's not as prosperous as they are. So those people are neglected. They want the same things. They desire to have the same things, but by entities getting together basically against you. It's not outright against you, but it basically is. Because see, all food sources, I mean, all eaters need a food source. That's the best way I can put it. All consumers need a source. That's the best way to put it. Like flowers need the dirt and the rain. Okay, the birds need each other to procreate to make eggs. So everything usually works with something else. You understand what I'm saying? You know, except when it comes to human beings, except when it comes to certain human beings. Now you can get let's say the Chinese and the Japanese, since they're so close in origin, except for some disputes they had over half a millennia ago, they could probably, uh, trade. They do and trade between themselves and visit each other's places. You know, even though they're both Oriental, you know, they have a lot of things in common. You know, since the Japanese originally came from the Chinese, and it's a long story. But anyway, you know, they have things in common, just like with the Taiwan and the Koreans and stuff. They're all Asians, and they have a lot of things in common. A lot of foods, a lot of traditions, a lot of stuff like that. So they would congregate among themselves more alike, you know, other than somebody trying to dominate them. They could, you know, conjugate among themselves and just have, you know, just that within them to communicate and to survive and do all that trade and everything else. But since we don't live in a world exactly like that, people trade all over the world and that kind of thing. So my point, you know, a long way of going around to a short point, is why we don't see that here among our people as much. We don't trade with the Africans as much as we should. We eat a lot of the same things, believe it or not. It's just some of us prepare it differently, but we eat a lot of the same things. You know, the cultures that would come here brought a lot of their own food, you know, with them here, and all that they couldn't bring or have created new things to have. So, I mean, even though I believe I'm meeting a lot of African people, they wouldn't eat a lot of the food that we would call home cooking, except for, you know, the greens and the beans and, you know, stuff like that. Some of the stuff they just won't eat because it's not a part of their diet, of their culture. But not that they can't be persuaded to try it, you know. So it makes me wonder, if this was such a free society, how come it's not that kind of freedom going along, unless it's done on a very small scale, and a lot of us don't know about it because a lot of us, we buy from the local stores and the supermarket, which don't carry a lot of actually African American food. They carry parts of it, like you can go buy greens in this store or ham hocks in this store, or, you know, because they have learned, the people that use you and feed off you, they have learned about certain things that you do eat. And then we always trying new things all the time. We always experiment, so we always trying new things. So they know how to cater to what you need. But I don't see that in reverse. I don't see black entrepreneurs in white neighborhoods selling pate, or, you know, or whatever it is that they eat. Because, like I said, most people eat basically the same thing. But I don't see that. So where's the fairness? You can't say that it's not an opportunity there, because it is. You can't say that other people don't sell other people's products, because they do. The Chinese do it, you know, the Arabs do it, the whites do it. Everybody sell products for us, but we seem to very seldom sell products directed towards them. So is that fair? Let's talk about another thing. Okay, where you live. You think the majority of where our people live is fair? It's considered a fair place to stay, a decent place to live? And if you look at all around the countries, let's look at just a typical white neighborhood. Just say blue collar white neighborhoods. You know, usually the neighborhoods are nice, decent neighborhoods, clean. Not to say they don't have their problems, because they do. But most of the neighborhoods are clean, quiet, you know, blue collar people. Let's talk about the blue collar black man or black people. Most of the blue collar people still live in the city because a lot of them can't afford to buy them houses, you know, in even in the city, because a lot of the prices went up, and where the prices are low, the neighborhoods are bad. They don't want their kids come up in there and get shot, so we're sort of stuck in the middle. How's that fair? How's that freedom? See, what you people take for granted, what do we all do? We take for granted with the word freedom, it makes you think you're free. It makes you think you have an obligation to something, and you don't. And you've been shown that more recent these days than any other days. But a lot of you still can't see it. So let's talk about police reform, police abuse. I know I bring this up quite a bit, but it's just you have to think about what they consider you to have as far as freedom and liberties. So the police exist to reduce crime and stop vandalism and you know and you know many other violations or whatever it is that they consider that is part of their job. You live in this deplorable neighborhood that's got constant police presence, and they're not even your own color in most cases. They're of another race. Ready for you to step out of line, but you're free, remember? You got freedoms. But you don't have freedoms. When some cop can take liberties on your life, on your personal well-being, and slap you in the face and tell you because you did wrong or you said something wrong, that's freedom, right? When a judge can convict you of something you didn't do, or a jury convicts you of something you didn't do, and the bottom line knowing that you didn't do it, but nobody's stepping up to show the evidence or anything that you couldn't do it, that's freedom, right? I don't hear nobody talking. When you take your child to a school and the school discriminates against your children and tell you you're a bad parent because you won't stand for it, call and get you arrested or get your kid kicked out of school, that's called freedom, right? Whose freedom is it? Hmm? I don't hear nobody talking. Is it their freedom or is it your freedom? And you know what I mean by their, so don't even go there. Whose freedom is it? Who is free and who is not free? When people look for your death and cheer and jeer in it, that's freedom, ain't it? Come on, folks. All you realists, real talking, jive ass people, you're free, ain't you? You're free to do whatever you think you want to do, within reason. If you were so free, why'd you stand by and watch George Floyd get strangled to death? You were standing around, you saw it. If you had liberties, couldn't you have done something to stop it? If you had freedom, would you stand around and watch policemen abuse your mama like I seen some of these cops do? In your face? But that's freedom, right? Just asking people. I don't understand what you're fighting for if you're not fighting for freedom. Because that's the very first thing you need. And to the whites, it's going to sound pretty bigoted what I'm getting ready to say. Get the hell out of Black Lives Matter. Let the people control the movement themselves. Because not only are you helping destroy the movement, you're helping to put a bad name on the movement if it has good intentions in the first place. If you want to fight for what you feel is wrong, it's over 300 million of you. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. But to the 40-something million blacks in this country, you need to start talking to one another and start asking questions on what is freedom for you. Because every time it comes to our freedom, it's always a judge that decides it. We don't seem to decide anything. Whenever our rights get violated, no one is standing there to defend you. You have to get your lawyer, sue, and everything. But with the whites, they have GoFundMe pages, especially the racist whites. They get more money than anybody. Because what are they into? They're into trying to stop whatever freedoms that you want to claim because they hate you. So I would like to get a little feedback on this, on what you feel freedom is. Because I know I'm going to get some of them people, I'm free. Can't nobody tell me this? Can't nobody tell me that? Yeah, that's what you think. Can't you see what's happening in the world right now? You got about as much freedom as spit. Okay? And don't nobody care. You're so too busy worrying about police brutality and defunding, which I think is all important things. But like I keep telling you folks, you're not looking what's behind you. You're too focused on what's in front of you. But all the BS is just building up behind you. A wall of it. And what you gonna do to stop it? When it comes to taking sides, who you think gonna take your side? I didn't think I heard anything. Nobody is gonna take your side. You're gonna be left in the wilderness alone. And the wolves are gonna come a hunting. And some of them wolves are gonna be just like you. Black, call yourself black, African American, whatever you want to call it. You know, they're going to look just like you. And they're going to talk just like you. And they're going to act just like you. But they're going to be out to destroy you. They're already out there trying to destroy you. On one of my videos, I'm going to bring up the boule. Because I was waiting on somebody to mention something about them, but I see nobody has. And it makes me think two things. Either you don't know about them, or you're afraid to bring them up, or you're a part of them. But just before I go, I want to tell you that the boule has a lot to do with what's going on too. Remember I told you there are people of different races and your own that wants to destroy you? See, it's a group of people that have gotten on this bandwagon with the nationalists. That's what they call themselves. Okay. And they're black people. And they're black people that are really disgusted in you. Black people. They don't value you. They don't care about you. They help perpetrate some of this hip hop music that degrades our women and degrades ourselves. And these guys showing their butt out in their pants, it's truly disgusting. And they think it's a fashion. And they've led you to believe that all this is okay because of freedom. See what I mean by freedom, people? It's a tricky word with tricky consequences. And people that are smart know how to play the freedom game. But in essence, you're not even free. You're not even as free as an ant in his own anthill. You're not even that free. You're numbered. They know your faces. You're monitored. I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave. You ever wonder why they catch black criminals so fast? Think about it, people. White criminals go out, live out in the wilderness and shit, don't get caught for years. Black man do it, he caught 3 months later, 2 weeks later, 5 days later. You want to know why? Because each and every last one of you with this skin color is being traced through your blood. Think I'm lying, don't you? I like to pop a little knowledge on people, especially the ones that think they know everything. They tracing you through your blood. And some of the reason they can't catch the younger ones because the database ain't caught up yet. But you ever notice they always take a blood sample of your children when they're born? It ain't to keep up with their blood type. I mean, it will help, but that's not what it's for. It's to monitor you. It's to watch you. It's to find you. Remember when I said that the police was originated to fast slaves and stuff like that. This is all they have done, man. They've just done up the game through technology. That's why they was pushing for the facial recognition thing too. But it don't really work that well on black people. You see what I'm saying? It always going to make mistakes. So they can't do that. But they have been tracking you through your blood for at least the last 100 years. Don't believe me? Look it up. That's all I gotta say. People don't believe me? Look it up. You know, and that's why they're able to catch black criminals a lot quicker and faster than they do any other criminals. Check out your history. So with that, I want to wish everybody a beautiful day, a beautiful afternoon, and God bless you. And until the next video, bye-bye.